Yeah, I had done so much personal development, and I'd done a bunch of spiritual development. And to be honest, I was a little bit kind of, I was over it all. I'd seen a lot of people do, kind of get a certain way and then just fall into pieces, and I was like, there was something missing from being an entrepreneur and or from this whole spiritual and personal development scene. And I wasn't, I was ready to find what that was. And that's what I found with it, with my girlfriend giving me this session. I was like, and it's such a tiny, I look at it now, it's like such a tiny piece of the puzzle, but it just everything made sense after that.
Do you know what this was, this little piece that sort of made that shift?
Yeah, I'd love to share it with you, actually.
Yes, thank you. Hello and welcome everybody to the Your Best Self podcast, where I get to interview successful and or inspiring people that get to share their story and what obstacles they had to go through in their life and what lessons they learned along the way. My name is Robert Hurt, and today I have the honor to be interviewing Tamara Norwood. Now, Tamara Norwood is also known as the business creatress, and she is an intuitive business strategist who works and looks at businesses from an angle that most people wouldn't really dare about speaking about. 99.99% of the universe is made up of energy, yet most people are just focusing on the 0.0001%. So today, Tamara is going to go and share more about her journey into entrepreneurship and how she focuses on the energy side of the business. Now, she's a mother of two, and she lives in a beautiful remote coastal town in North Queensland, Australia. And she is always be living in your best life. Always living your best life is basically her motto. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about that today. So, Tamara, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on today's podcast, waking up at 4:30 in the morning. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm great.
Oh,
I'm really excited to be here. And yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to sharing.
Awesome. All right. So Tamara, I took a little look into what you do, and I see that you align the entrepreneur and the business to the highest purpose. Tell me a little bit about how does that work and how does it affect the business's results?
Yeah, great. So I like to look at a business as an energy. Everything, I believe that everything in this universe has an energy, whether it's a positive energy or a negative energy. We're all made up of energy, right? Yeah. All the space between our cells, it's energy. So a business is something that you have created from your mind, or it's been given you from from a higher place, and this energy is the heart and the life force of your business. Whereas most of us, we kind of think of it from a place of our mind, it's just our thought creation. And so we need to keep thinking about it. Whereas I like to think of it as it's an intuitive process, and the business has been downloaded from this intuitive process. So to continue the business in its higher purpose, as I say, it's about tuning into that energy. And really, the energy is made up of information. As the whole universe is information, your business is information. So your business has the wisdom and the knowledge to take it to its ultimate growth strategy. To take it to its ultimate impact, to take it to its ultimate harmonious, to take you and the business to an ultimate harmonious lifestyle, really. And so this is the place that I like to look at the business from, because oftentimes when we look at it from our mind, it can become very stressful, a whole to-do list, and we've got to kind of follow what the experts are telling us to do, and what so-and-so did in their business. I'm going to model that, and then I'm going to have the same success, but the business as an energy is its own unique life force. It's its own unique pattern, and it has its own unique way of getting to that success point. So if we can tap into that, then that's where I believe true success comes from. You know, it might, every business has a different purpose.
Yeah, I believe that, because, you know, sorry to interrupt you here, but, you know, a lot of times successful people say, hey, just model what already works, model what is successful, and you will get the same kind of success. So it's interesting to see it, you know, from that perspective, that I also believe that, you know, everything is very individual, and your journey cannot be compared to anybody else's, because you are your own true self, basically, and you have different, you know, kind of energy. So I'm very looking forward to, you know, what else you have to share with that. So how does that really look like? Like, you get into a meeting, you know, with a business client, and what are you talking about there?
Yeah, so I've done a very specific level of training, and so I did some training with the Intuition Wisdom Institute. They're based here in Australia, but of course they're global. And basically it's looking into the, you know, at a personal level first, looking into your true self, and really what's, you know, what are all the layers and beliefs and societal stuff that's affecting you to stop you from being your true self. And so it's this kind of rigorous personal transformation first. And so after doing that, then you know, my passion's always been in business, and entrepreneurs are my favorite people. And so I went on and really crafted my, you know, business style of things, and how I wanted to work with people in terms of business. And they have a level of business training there as well. And so what I like to do is really, I just get on Zoom, one-on-one with people on Zoom, and I literally just connect with the energy of their business as I would connect with the energy of their true self as well. And so it's all about using my intuition to literally look at their business energy and their energy, and make sure it's a fit, and make sure that those energies are operating at their optimum. And what's the purpose of the individual, the entrepreneur? What is their true life purpose, and what are they here to bring forth, you know? And then what is the true purpose of the business, and how does that, you know, how do we marry those two together in a really unique and harmonious way, you know, so that it's not about the to-do list and, you know, the things that have to be done. It's more about the lifestyle and the, you know, the joy that can be created from that, you know, unique marriage, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's very powerful, because I believe that, you know, once an entrepreneur or somebody that has a business gets to the state where he's sort of in his zone of genius, like he does what he loves to do, and, you know, it also fits together with what the business, you know, is supposed to do. And, you know, those two things, they, you know, as you said, you know, if you marry those two together, you can literally just go, you know, beyond the limits that you have, you know, set for yourself. So that is, you know, an awesome approach. So you basically act as, like, you ask a lot of questions, you listen, and you just, you know, feel, you know, the energy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of information. Usually when I tap into a business, it's like the business has got a lot to say.
Yeah.
You know, and so, I'll listen to the business and, you know, have a chat. And then I'll ask really specific questions, like, what is its purpose and how does it want to grow? And we look at you know, financial systems, we look at staffing systems, we look at marketing and products and services and all those kinds of things, and, you know, look at the people that the business wants to serve, and how they want to serve them, and what products they want to deliver for them. And then, you know, I'll look at the future customers of the business as well. It's like that, you know, that's an energy out there in the, you know, in the universe as well. So we tap into that and really, you know, download some information from them as well. And so, I mean, all depends on how much somebody wants to work with you. There's only so much you can do in one session, right?
True. And how do people react to, statements as like, 99.9% of the universe is made up of energy, and, a lot of the things that you probably do and talk about in client sessions might be extremely new to people. And if they are not, I would say, radically open-minded to that, do you, feel or see a lot of resistance also when you talk about, stuff like that, I would say?
Yeah, it's interesting, and this has been my big process to overcome in living my best life. And, I've kind of grown up, second generation kind of spiritual, open sort of family. And so I've always been on the spiritual side of entrepreneurship anyway. And having that kind of always having stuff to say that's a bit, left of center, is kind of a bit on the edge and a bit different, and all of those kinds of things. So this has been a really big thing for me to overcome, in order that, my kind of belief is that the world's not ready to hear what I have to say. And so I've always worked behind the scenes in other people's businesses, because the world's not ready to hear what I have to say, right? And so, I spent a lot of time developing other people's businesses and getting them from, $0 to $1 million a year, and creating product launches and events and all those sorts of things. And it was fulfilling to a certain point, but I knew that if I was going to be ultimately fulfilled, then my dream and my passion of becoming a business coach had to, be at the forefront. And so, stepping into that was a really, really big thing, in order to come out and say, no, this is who I am, and this is what I'm going to speak about, was a big growth step for me in my, my journey in my life. And, it kind of comes a point where it's like, there's got to be some education, because, 99% of the planet has no idea about it.
Exactly.
So, and this is the task that I am willing to jump in there and educate people around energy. And, science has come such a long way, and there's so much, like, everything that I do is backed by science these days. You only have to kind of read a couple of quantum physics books, and that it's like one thought form can be influenced by another thought form on the other side of the world. One atom can be influenced by another atom on the other side of the world. They've tested those things now. And so it's like, and everything has an energy field, all those kinds of things. But they don't know how big the energy field is yet, because they don't have the equipment to test it.
True.
So it's like, it's getting easier to talk about those kinds of things. And, there's a lot of spiritual entrepreneur communities out there on Facebook and Instagram and all those kinds of things. So people are waking up. It's inevitable. So I feel like if I don't start speaking about it now, then I'm going to miss the boat, and half the world's going to be speaking about it in 50 years or whatever.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I actually also believe that, people are waking up, and I just realized that a little bit in my, surroundings, where people are more open to the idea of personal development, where that's starting to read, those kind of books, I would say, right? Or just being open to that, because that's, for me personally, I've been very big into personal development for, I think, probably like 4 or 5 years now, because of my parents. They started off that, and I'm very happy that I started off so, early in my age, because I truly believe that if you're not personally developing yourself, then you will not be living a happy life. You can only, go to a certain extent, obviously. And especially for entrepreneurs, your income can definitely not exceed the personal development that you have, right? So I really love the fact that people are waking up and that it's finally happening. So you are definitely in the right time. Fantastic. And what was sort of like the breaking point for you, where you realized previously you've been working behind the scenes for entrepreneurs, And then, what made you say like, all right, now is the time? Was there a specific situation or a specific, something that happened that made you go out of your shelf basically and do what you do now?
Yeah. It's, there's a bunch of them, but it was kind of, I was pregnant with my second child, and sorry, this is not a great story, but it has a really great ending. So
okay.
my partner at the time decided he didn't want to have anything to do with being a father, which I kind of understand. He had a really heavy background, and I'm so grateful that he decided that now. My son's now 2.5, and he has a man in his life, which is his father. And, it's all it's become a very beautiful story. So, but I remember, at the time, so single mum, about to have second, we lived in a studio apartment on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. So beautiful location, just tiny. And really just sitting there wondering how I was going to go about this, and how I was going to take it on. It was a very rough time. I'd been studying personal development since I was 10, really.
Wow.
And spiritual development, personal development, and I had done a lot, and I didn't understand why I was in that situation. How that had happened to me. And I remember something that one of my mentors said to me when I was young. I studied natural horsemanship, so horse psychology, and it was a lot of personal development, but side of horsemanship. And he used to say, natural horsemanship is about looking at what everybody else is doing and doing the opposite.
Yeah.
And I was like, right. Everybody else is getting married first and then having children. I'm doing the opposite. I'm going to go out there and do this differently, and it's going to be great. And so that was kind of, my self-talk to get me through that moment. And then I tried a few different things. Like, I thought, oh, well, lots of mums are doing network marketing. I'll try that. And, that was extremely unfulfilling.
Yeah.
For me. And, so tried a few different things when my son was quite young, and then it's like, when that didn't work, I was like, right, okay, what do I really want to do? What do I really need to do here? And I sat with a girlfriend of mine, and she had just done the Intuition Wisdom Institute training, and she said to me, look, let me tune in. I've just done, I've just learned this new thing. Let me tune in for you. And what she did for me was absolutely mind blowing. It was, I'd always been a little bit skeptical of kind of energy healers, because I grew up in an area where there were so many of them, and none of them looked particularly amazing to me.
Yeah.
They all looked a bit sketchy.
Yeah, I bet.
And so, but what she did for me was incredible, and she really gave me the, my true self gave me the wisdom through that session that I had created this incredible space of me and these two little babies for my own transformation, for my own enlightenment. And she was like, this whole situation has been crafted for you to reach your enlightenment. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to do that. What's it, I was really curious. I was like, what's the first step? And she gave me a couple of books to read, and I read these books, and I sat there for 6 weeks, just being present with my kids and being present with our life, but really tuning in on self-love and, a couple of other tools that I'd learned from this book. And within 6 weeks, we had been given a new car, like given $5,000 for a new car. Wow. I had approached the company that I wanted to work for, which was the Intuition Wisdom Institute. I'd approached them, told them what I want to do for them, and been hired, and been offered a new apartment across the road, which had a bedroom in it.
Wow. Yeah.
So those kind of results hadn't, you know, I'd worked really hard for all of my results in the, you know, in the past, and I'd worked really hard in the jobs that I'd, you know, procured and all those kinds of things. So to be given this just by sitting back and really tuning in was incredible for me. And so I really, you know, I just kept going. I kept going at that, and it really made a massive difference for me. But sorry, long story short, I took on this job because of, you know, my son was he wasn't even a year old at that time. And I'd been out of the entrepreneurial game for a little while. I was like, I want one job. I want it to be a really great job, like something that I absolutely love to do. And it's going to teach me everything I need in order to get back into the entrepreneurial world, so that I don't have to spend time, you know, teaching myself again and all those kinds of things. And so I worked for them for a year, and then it just felt like time. You know, I knew I was ready. My role with them, it was ready for me to pass on. And it was a bit scary, you know, there were things that I could have stayed there for and all of that kind of stuff. But I knew for my family that it was the right thing for me to do. I didn't want to have to work 20 hours with them and then 10, 15, 20 hours on the side. It was like, I wanted to just dedicate this. We also moved to this amazing coastal town in Queensland, and it's, you know, this beautiful paradise by the sea. It's very cheap to live, and it's like this dream lifestyle. And it's like, I don't want to be working for somebody else here. I want to be sitting with my laptop at the local cafe, looking out at the water and, you know, dreaming up my own business and those kinds of things. So it just got to a point in time where I knew that there was nothing else that was going to satisfy me as much as doing my own thing.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing the story. So it started off, you know, by somebody basically enlightening you a little bit about, you know, what it is that you want to do. And then you just followed your intuition, basically, right? Yeah. You just knew that, all right, this is where I want to get to. And I'll just, you know, basically trust the universe that it's going to provide, you know, me whatever I need in order to get there, right?
Yeah, I had done so much personal development, and I'd done a bunch of spiritual development. And to be honest, I was a little bit I was over it all. You know, I'd seen a lot of people do, you know, kind of get a certain way and then just fall into pieces, you know. And I was like, there was something missing from being an entrepreneur and or from this whole spiritual and personal development scene. And I wasn't, I was ready to find what that was. And that's what I found with it, you know, with my girlfriend giving me this session. I was like, and it's such a tiny, you know, I look at it now, it's like such a tiny piece of the puzzle, but it just everything made sense after that.
Do you know what this was, this little piece that sort of made that shift?
Yeah, I'd love to share it with you, actually.
Yes, thank you.
So what these guys at Intuition Wisdom Institute, like the most basic part of their training is that you have a true self. You know, what you think you are is not really you. You know, what you think you are is this ego energy, this ego that has been given to you as a child from your parents, who also lived in ego, you know, and from their parents and from their parents and from their parents, you know, and so this ego has, you know, given you all these things in your subconscious mind and in your body and all these kinds of beliefs and stuff that you are operating from. And so, and, you know, the ego, its real job is to keep you safe, right? Yeah. You know, it's just going to keep you safe and keep you small and keep you happy, because you've experienced heartache and you've experienced loss and you've experienced all these things when you tried to be your true self. And so now you're just going to stay really small and live a very mediocre life and you'll be fine, you know. Yeah. but inside of you is this true self that, you know, I look at my true self now, and it's as big as a planet. You know, I am huge on the inside, and that light, and, you know, I remember my mum saying to me when I was, you know, I was probably 12, she's like, one person living in their heart can affect thousands.
Yeah, I love that.
Can enlighten thousands. And I really looked at that. And so now I really feel that in my true, you know, when I'm in my true self, it's like, that's what's truly possible. And yeah, it seems so simple, but just that and a very simple tool for clearing that ego out of your day, you know, out of your daily life. And when you're, you know, they've got loads of tools for clearing lots of, you know, deep-seated stuff, but just really when I go about my life and I'm in my ego, things are stressful and chaotic and just not great, you know. But when I'm in my true self and in my flow and I'm connected to my intuition, it's like I'm so divinely guided, you know. And it's really quite simple, as your ego doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. So your ego is protecting you out of the past and recreating more of the past, right? Whereas your true self is connected to everything. And so it knows, it's like, it knows that if you take this path in your business, it's going to lead up, you know, end up to amazing success. And it knows that if you, you know, if you go on a date with that man, it's going to be amazing. Or if you know, don't go to the supermarket on that day, and all those kinds of things. And you know, that plane's going to land, but that one's not. Or you know, those kinds of it knows how to get you safely to your ultimate destination. And so, you know, the ego wants to try and control you in getting you there safely. But it's a big process releasing that. But the commitment to a true self life, eventually I feel like everyone will find that commitment, you know, because there'll be enough bumps in the ego road, you know. And it, you know, even after knowing that, it still took me a little while to really like go from that bumpy road to just going, all right, no, I'm committed to this path because I've felt it enough now. I've felt it enough, and I'm sticking with my true self.
That's powerful. That's powerful, because I truly believe, you know, I think like it can be literally like the secret of, you know, drop your ego and, you know, just follow your true authentic self, and you will be living the life that you truly want to live. But, you know, I obviously also agree with the point that, you know, since we are growing up, we get so conditioned, you know, by different beliefs, by our parents, society, school, TV, everything that we watch, we just get so conditioned. Now we act out of that conditioning that we've been through all our childhood, right? And now obviously getting rid of that from like deeply rooted beliefs that have been conditioned into us for like years and years and years is absolutely not easy. And a lot of people probably are also scared into going into those beliefs because perhaps something bad happened, you know, that they don't like to think about anymore because it gives them a lot of pain, right? So what are some of the exercises that perhaps you do or that you got taught, you know, when it comes to dropping your ego? Because I believe that, you know, for a lot of people, if they would know a few exercises, how they can do that on a day-to-day basis, or also how can they get rid of negative beliefs or limiting beliefs? Do you have any exercises to share there?
Yeah, I do. I'll talk a little bit about my my daily rituals, and I'm running a webinar on these rituals.
Oh, fantastic.
There is, you know, and we've been told this for years, but it's like, it is actually so important to sit in silence and sit in stillness every day.
Yeah.
Because it's through the stillness that you can begin to cut through the ego and really hear your true self. And for most people, it's like they've been living so heavily in their ego for so long that their true self isn't even in their body anymore.
Yeah.
True self's chilling out there, trying to get a message through, like trying.
Listen, come on.
Come on, buddy.
You can do it.
And you know, to allow yourself to sit inside, you know, to sit in stillness every day for, you know, at least 10 minutes. You know, if 10 minutes is big for you, then try 5 minutes 3 times a day or something like that, you know, until you can do 10 minutes twice a day, until you can do 30 minutes twice a day. And I really love the twice a day aspect, because it wants to create your day and wants to give gratitude for your day, and see how you can create tomorrow even better, you know? And so that's part of my ritual, is the morning creation session, basically. So I get up in the morning, and the kids and I might run down to the Oval and, you know, play and hang out and have breakfast. And then it's like, they know it's like, all right, mommy's 30-minute meditation is happening, and they don't come and they
that's
don't come
fantastic.
And so in that time, I like to, and this is another really big thing that I've learned, is that there's a connection between your brain and your heart, right? And at the moment, for most people, all the energy is in their brain, and their brain's going 100 miles an hour, and the heart's sitting here going, come on, I'm really useful.
Use me. Yeah.
And so to sit and just let that energy drain from your brain and down into your heart is super important. Allowing that, it's kind of the first step in really dropping that ego. And your heart is your creation center, right? Your heart can create an amazing world and can connect you to your true self and really take you places. But it's overlooked because everyone's so in their mental. So I really like to just wait. You know, you can't force energy to go anywhere. You just kind of wait and have your intention on your heart. And breath is really important in that process, right? So just breathing into your heart and allowing, you know, wait until you can kind of feel. And then what happens is this really incredible information cycle. It's like, you know, because the brain senses what's happening. And then usually, you know, unless you're connected with your heart, then the brain reacts out of, you know, the past. And so you're basically just living every day the same as yesterday. Whereas if you want to create a new life, then allowing that energy to sink down into your heart and allowing the messages to come from your heart, because the heart can, you know, the heart is connected to that true self, and it's like, that's where you can really start to create a different life. You got to be you know, there's that whole commitment level there. It's like, if you're not really truly committed to creating a different life, then
you're kind of like just playing around
99% of the time, or at least, you know. And this is why twice a day I think is really important, if not 3 or 4 or 100 times a day, you know, to just check in and breathe into your heart. And so that's the first part of what I do. And then I like to expand that heart center. And as the more energy is in that heart, the more I can feel my vibration lifting. And I go out as far as I can go. And I can go out pretty far these days, because I don't have a lot of anchors back down to the real world. You know, I've worked on a lot of those, and I've cut a lot of those back. So it's like I can go out pretty far, and that's where I can really truly create a lot of magic. And so it's there's layers to the universe, right? And one of my spiritual teachers used to, you know, it's like it's 7 layers, and, you know, mineral, rock, or something like, mineral, rock, plant, animal, human, and then there's the true human, and then there's the angelic, and then there's the creator. And there's a couple of different healing modalities that have that same, like, 7 levels. And so for me, I like to look at it. It's like, okay, so the human layer that we're all, you know, that we're all in at the moment, this is clouded with ego, right? And so to get to that fifth layer, the fifth, and really go out to our true self. You have to kind of raise your vibration above this layer of ego to then find the clarity and find your true self and really connect with your intuition. So this is the why I expand my heart center out, and I expand it right out as far as I can go, you know, beyond this, you know, beyond the stars and all those kinds of things. And it's like out there, it's clear. Out there, there's a beautiful connection with all that there is, and out there I can create my future, and I can you know, let go of things really easy, let go of past stuff really easy. So that's the first part. There's, you know, there's a few more bits in there, but you'll have to come to my webinar and see.
Yeah, awesome. I'll definitely link it in the description down below, guys, if you want to know more about that. So
Awesome.
you talked a little bit, you know, about visualization, right? About your future. And, you know, to me, interesting, what is interesting, because I also meditate daily for 20 minutes a day. But I'm currently using music, you know, to get into this, you know, sort of state. And I believe you don't, right? You just let the natural sounds basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. So when I first started, guided meditations were really important for me, because it had the music element, it had that direction, you know, and then it became better for me to do without the guide, because I could get there faster, and I could go more places, and I could really release more and all those kinds of things. So I got to the place where just music. But now I only use music when I've maybe not been as proactive with my practice, and I'm kind of, it's like, you know, I might be school holidays, for example.
When the kids are around all the time.
Daily practices kind of go out of the window during school holidays. And so it becomes, you know, when I'm getting back into the routine, then I'll use music every day for a couple of days, just because it does that vibration, especially when you're using something at a, you know, a different hertz. You know, different
frequency.
They can be really powerful. So I really recommend them when you're first starting out. And yeah, the guided meditations, I think they're amazing. There's some really high vibrational, incredible guided meditations out there, and there's some really, really average guided meditations out there. So I don't think every guided meditation is amazing.
Okay. Do you have a few that you know that are really good from certain people that you can recommend?
I like Dr. Joe Dispenza's.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. I like his. I'm going to be creating my own on this 3 rituals webinar, because I feel like I've synthesized a lot from a lot of people, and just from my own process. I think it's going to be really powerful for a lot of people who are just starting out, or who are looking for that next level of enlightenment or connection.
Yeah. Awesome.
Whether it be with their true self or with their business or whatever it might be. So it's specifically designed for entrepreneurs, but I think everyone can get a lot out of it.
And
looking for their best life, right?
Yeah, exactly. And when you are in the state of, you know, expanding your vibration and, you know, getting it bigger, do you actively visualize, you know, what your perfect future basically looks like, or do you just go, you know, with your intuition and just let it flow, basically?
This is a big one, right? Because, you know, we've been taught for a lot of years, you know, inside of personal development, that you create your reality. So let's create, you know, what is it that you want to create? And it's like, well, I want $1 million, you know, I want $1 million business, and I want a big house on the beach, and all these kinds of things. And this is where I got really disheartened with a lot of the personal development industry is I wanted all those things, and I worked for a lot of those things, and I, I could see it happening, and I had it on my vision board, and I was grateful for it, and all this kind of stuff, but it didn't happen. It didn't eventuate, right? And so what I realized is that it's not my truth. It's not my true self. And so I let my true self deliver the vision, show me what it can be like, show me my ideal life, those kinds of things, I think is far more powerful, because your true self knows how to get you ultimate fulfillment and joy and happiness. And that's what it's really all about. A lot of entrepreneurs were out there, a lot of people in general. I speak about entrepreneurs because that's my target market. And so there are a lot of people out there just striving for happiness.
That's the emotion that all want.
Yeah, this pursuit of happiness. And it's like, when I get this ideal business, or when I land this client, I'm going to be happy. When I have this house, I'm going to be happy. When I have my husband, I'm going to be happy. All these kinds of things. And this pursuit of happiness, you can kind of track it right through to like a government level, and big businesses, and big businesses are just trying to make their investors happy, and their investors will only be happy if they get a certain percentage of return, all this kind of thing. This pursuit of happiness is kind of destroying the planet and humanity along with it.
True.
And so if we forgo the pursuit of happiness for the pursuit of love or self-love, this is where true transformation can happen. And I think true transformation in our heart is where it has to start, and transformation in that kind of how we create our future, how we look at wanting to create our future, those kinds of things. And so I think it's really important to connect with your truth, your true self, and then let your true self guide you to that ultimate life, rather than controlling it and pursuing it.
Yeah, that's very amazing and very interesting to hear. And obviously it's probably going to take a lot of time, to sort of get to the state where you can connect to your true self, right? Because at the beginning you got to, chip away all those, ego, barriers that you have put out, there. And if you start the meditation or the being in silence, then a lot of those, thought patterns and, ego barriers are going to come up all the time and won't let you basically connect to your true higher self, right? So how long do you think, it might take somebody to get to the state where being able to kind of like tune into the, higher self and let it guide you, instead of putting it out there and, say, I create this kind of reality, or want to have this?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, let's put it in these terms. I spent over 15 years in the personal development industry, and very active in the personal development. I worked for personal development companies. I traveled with them. It was a really big part of my life. And, so 15 years later, I was worse off.
Wow. Well, that's encouraging.
Yes. But when I really, when I discovered this secret, this kind of untold truths, I guess, it's been 2 years from when I first had my session with my friend to now. And so I've gone from living in a studio apartment on my own in quite a kind of baby blues funk to living my ideal life with an amazing man who is the divine father of both of my children, and he's a healer and does we do a lot of the work, similar work, and we have an incredible relationship. We live in paradise. Yeah. The beach is just out there.
That's amazing.
And the sun is usually always shining. We're having an amazing rain this evening.
Fantastic.
But, and living this really beautiful, inspiring, quiet life where all of our needs are met. And, it's just it's better than what I could have imagined.
Yeah.
It's so much better than what I was striving for. You know, I'm more happy and content and in love with my life and my kids and my partner than I thought I could. And so 2 years to create that is not much.
No, absolutely.
It's more about the commitment, the dedication, and what I used to say, what I say to all of the students that come through, because I coach the Intuition Wisdom Institute coaches. What I say to all of them is it's about having that attitude of curiosity of how to transform this area of life.
Yeah.
You know, whatever's not working for you can be completely transformed. It doesn't matter what it is. It's all just energy in the long run. So whether it's, you know, a broken marriage or a broken business or, you know, a broken relationship with your child or whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, it can be transformed. It's just that attitude of curiosity about how to transform it. And then the commitment, the self-commitment that it takes to realize that you're an ego and that you're creating it. And so one of the things that I do now with my kids, it's like, kids can be really annoying. You know, they can, because they're really needy. They want your attention, and you know, they'll do anything to get your attention. And so instead of kind of schooling them and being like, no, you need to go and sit in your own space and you can't fight with your brother, and you know, you can't throw Lego at people and those kinds of things. I literally sit and I bring the energy of the truth. Like, what's the truth for this moment? What's the truth for me in this moment? What are my kind of projections out here? What's going on for them? I don't even want to know specifically. I'm just bringing that truth energy in and watching it transform.
Interesting.
And I've been doing this over the last month, and I'm enjoying my kids, like really enjoying them. You know, yesterday was Sunday, and you know, we went to the markets. It was raining. We kicked the football around the oval in the rain together, and you know, went and got beautiful different veggies from different market stalls. And you know, it's hot here, so rain's welcome. And you know, we stayed at home. We played Catan, and you know, watched a movie together, and we just had a great time. And they had plenty of their own space. You know, they weren't like, Mum, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Are you going to entertain us? It was flow. It was harmonious flow amongst us all. And then, you know, we went for a walk in the evening, and it was just really, you know, I got to the end of the day and I still had energy. And so that for me has been a really big thing for me to transform, because I used to have that belief that kids are literally sucking the life out of me. You know? And a lot of mothers have that, and a lot of entrepreneurs have that as well. It's like, I'm giving everything to my business. I don't know how I can do anymore. But when you transform it and you let go of that ego, that non-truth, and you bring in the truth of what can, you know, that truth energy, it can transform really easily and gracefully. It's just, how do you remind yourself? It's like breaking that old pattern of living every moment from the ego in the past to connecting to that truth energy. And so I think it really depends on how you go about it. You know, if you just watch a podcast one time and you go and try it a little bit and those kinds of things, then you might not get very far very fast, you know. Whereas if it resonates with you and it speaks to you and you're like, yes, this is what I've been missing, as I was when I first heard about it, then it's like that commitment and dedication to find out more and to you know, to get coaching or to you know, just ask. you know, just getting up the courage.
Be curious
to
about
ask,
it.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Be curious. It's like, okay, how do I do this? You know, and that question, that reaching out could change your life, you know. And I've been marveled every step of the way. It's like, you know, I told you about that, you know, what happened in that first 6 weeks, and it's like, wow, that transformation. And then I, you know, and I just kept going, kept building on it. And then 6 months later, it's like there was another amazing transformation. And then, you know, 6 months later, another amazing transformation. You know, it was just, it's amazing. Been constant. There's really constant, beautiful growth in life and in love and happiness, you know.
And all of that, you know, just because you know, follow your intuition and connect to your higher self and just let it guide you, basically, right? So that's pretty amazing. And if you think about it, you know, 2 years, as you said, it's absolutely nothing compared to, you know, the life that you have in front of you. And now thinking, you know, it can just take you 2 years to be starting to live the life that you actually want to live. And that's absolutely amazing, because there are people out there that are working 40 years of their lives and they never get this day where they wake up feeling super happy, super blessed. They're just like, oh, it's Monday again, I need to go to work, you know. And now, you know, you can see Tamara just, you know, working for 2 years, you know, on this journey, and, you know, she is super blessed, super, you know, happy every single day, and she's enjoying the time with her kids. So that's very amazing. That will definitely know me personally, that's also very interesting, and I will follow that to, you know, sort of connect to my higher self, right? That's definitely something that I'm interested more about. And I believe, you know, a few people that might be watching this are as well. So if they, you know, want to know more about that, how can they reach out to the webinar, or how can they find you and know more about what you do?
Yeah, awesome. So I've got 2 things happening at the moment. If you go to thebusinesscreatress.com, you would be able to get a one-on-one session with me. I'm, you know, spending a couple of months really donating my time to getting the word out there, and really it's all about tuning into your business and discovering your, you know, kind of analyzing your business and looking at it from a, you know, energetic point of view, and giving you an overview there. But if you don't have a business and you're watching this, then please just jump on anyway. We can talk about, you know, we can talk about kids, we can talk about anything, and really, you know, transform that area of your life if you like. Or you can just ask me questions about whatever it is. I'm open for you guys to jump on there and do that. So thebusinesscreatress.com. Or I've got a webinar coming up. It's the 3 rituals that I do every day that really improve my focus and my intention on my business, and it's literally transformed my business. It's taken, you know, I don't say this on my, you know, on my marketing side of things, but I say these daily rituals have taken me from being stuck inside of my self, really, in my own fears, to shining in my business. And so this has been the thing that's taken me from, I don't think the world's ready to hear what I have to say, to I am ready for the world to hear what I have to say. You know? And so that's been really big. That's, you know, been my biggest fear in stopping me from doing my business for a really long time. And it's these 3 rituals that have really gotten me over that. So I believe it's, you know, it's these 3 rituals that are going to help anyone to get through those, you know, those stuck points. It's really going to help you start connecting with your true self. It's going to help you start connecting with your business, with your clients, and with that, you know, the expanding your energy vibration. So that's a really good one to jump on, and I believe you're going to post a link in the.
Yes, I will definitely post a link in the descriptions down below. So guys, if you're interested in that, definitely, you know, check it out. I will personally, you know, hop on a call with you, you know, to find out more about that. So that's pretty amazing. Great. All right, Tamara. So before we end up, you know, this interview, personally, like, I have to thank you, because it's very, very interesting of what you do. And I have a few, you know, other questions which I quickly just want to ask you. So, you know, one, you talked about a few books that, you know, you got recommended, and I always ask, you know, the people that I interview, like, if you could recommend, you know, 3 books that people should read in order to live their best life, what 3 books would you recommend?
So I would start off with The All-Knowing Diary from Daniel. Mm-hmm. And so it's on Amazon. So The All-Knowing Diary, from Daniel. His second book, also called Mind Lies. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, Dr. Joe Dispenza's last book, Becoming Supernatural.
Yeah, I think I have that book, but I haven't read it yet. I definitely need to read that.
It's a cracking book. It's
okay.
really, really great. It's like, and that's where it's like all the science behind what I've said today is all in that book.
Fantastic. Awesome.
And Daniel's book, Mind Lies, is he writes it in a way that it's like the biggest non-truths and the biggest mind lies that are out there in general society today. He writes it in a way that he kind of uncovers that non-truth and integrates the truth into you as you're reading. So it's amazing for kind of just waking you up a little, a little, and getting you through that next layer of, non-truth or ego that's in your life. And his first book, The All-Knowing Diary, that's going to give you some really cool tools. And literally they are the tools that I used for 6 weeks to transform. Just the tools that are in the back of the secret pages in the back of that book were amazing.
I definitely have to.
Clearing ego and connecting with true self. It's a pretty wild book. It's quite out there, and a lot of people are like, whoa.
Okay, but that's amazing. Yeah.
I think it's awesome. It's they're 3 of the best books I've ever read.
Wow, I definitely have to get Mind Lies, because I believe, if that's, the case, then everybody should be reading that book, the first thing, that they read, because we've talked about how your ego, is holding you back basically, and how much limiting beliefs you have and all those false beliefs. So if, he gets to uncover all of them, and you basically realize like, oh my God, like there's so many untruths that I have inside of me that are holding me back from living the life that I actually want to live, then this book is definitely, a must read. So thank you for the recommendation. I will definitely get it today. So, and, next question, what advice would you have for people that want to start living, their best life? Like, next to tuning into their higher self, is there anything else you would, like to add to that if they want to truly live, the life that they want?
Yeah. So I think there's 2 really deeply important energies that one needs to connect with in their life, besides their true self. Is self-love and self-belief.
Yeah. And
so to literally just imagine yourself in a bubble of self-love and in a bubble of self-belief. And you can, if you get really good at that, you can imagine that at the, the drop of the hat, you're about to go into an interview. Surround yourself in self-love and self-belief. It's self-belief that's going to help you get there. It's self-belief that's going to help you, with that daily commitment and really that attitude of curiosity and just the belief that you could possibly go from the life that you're living now to something amazing. That's self-belief, but it's self-love that's going to help you stay there.
Yeah.
And keep it building and keep it growing. And so I think they're really, really vital to everybody. That's what I teach my kids. It's like self-love, self-belief, and
I love that.
To your superhero.
Yeah. And it's also very important, I love what you're saying here, that, self-love is gonna, keep you there, because a lot of times, what I've noticed for people, that they have, this high, they have where they get to become successful, and all of a sudden they, drop and sabotage their own selves because, they cannot expand sort of like this thermostat that they have set for themselves, right? So, I love the point that, self-belief is going to get you there, but self-love is going to keep you there, right? So that's very powerful. Amazing. All right. Absolutely. So the last question.
My life used to do these.
Yeah.
And now it kind of does this.
Yeah. It's sort of like always rising, but with a few dips. Yeah.
And that's self-love.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Awesome. All right. Then the last question, which I also love, where, there are like amazing, answers coming from the question. So if you could teach the entire world one single concept, one single mindset, or one single, thought pattern in order to help the whole world basically live a better life and have a positive impact, what would it be?
Yeah. Discover your life purpose and live it.
Yeah.
live it unashamedly.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like self-belief, self-love, connecting to your true self, and then living your life purpose, like really truly discovering what your life purpose is and living it. We all have something completely unique and incredible to share with the world. Yeah. And if we all just shared that from this space of self-love and, connection to our truth, then we could do amazing things.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Like that's amazing. I also, believe that every single one of us has a gift to share. It's just sometimes sad to see that a lot of people don't let their light shine because of those beliefs and the ego that is holding them back. So, the follow-up question to that would be, how can people find out what it is that, what the purpose is of life? Because that's obviously, I think a very, very big question, what's the purpose of my life? And a lot of people might be stressing themselves out. And I noticed that, this is not what they should be doing. They should, just get into silence, connect with their true high self. I'm already learning right here. So,
yeah. So that's if you want to do it at home on your own, that's kind of the key, is really get silent and get into your heart and be, and to kind of open to that. And you might need to, this is something that I really like about Dr. Joe's work, is that he doesn't say that it's like, you can transform in the drop of a hat. It's like, he says you can transform within one meditation, but it might, that one meditation might take you, 2 years every day, twice a day, to get to that one meditation that transforms everything, And so it's like sitting in that meditation every day and just connecting with your heart, expanding out into the universe and asking, it's like, show me my purpose, and that it might take you 2 years of doing that in order to really go, yes, that's it. That is it. And and kind of get so excited that you can't do anything else but that of your life, and this is the thing, it's like I still ask it, maybe not every day, but my ritual is to bring in truth around my around my life purpose, and so you can come to the rituals webinar and I'll share, we're going to go deeper into that meditation, and that's definitely about connecting with your true self, those kinds of things. You can sit at home and you can just do what you feel you got out of this conversation. You can read Dr. Joe's book. He doesn't talk about life purpose at all, but he talks about really great, he's got some really cool meditations, guided meditations. You can buy them on his website and those kinds of things. But if you really want to kind of fast track it, then jump on a call with me. Let's do that, life purpose. And it can be a unique download from, what does your true self have to say about your life purpose? That's really important, rather than just, because it's a unique and individual thing. Your unique and individual energy is completely different from somebody else's. But to really cut through the noise really quickly and get there, then a one-on-one session with me would be great.
Awesome. All right. Fantastic, guys. So you heard it. If you want to know what your life purpose is, jump on a call with Tamara, or, start reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, or, go a little bit deeper, get into that meditation, into that flow state, connect with your higher self, and you will get there. It might take you a while, but, eventually you will get there. Have the commitment, have the faith, and I will definitely I will definitely do it. I will definitely schedule a call with you. So I am sold. Fantastic. All right. Tamara, is there anything else you would love to say, before we end up this interview today?
Your best life is possible. It's 100%, if there's any part of your life that you're unhappy with, you can change it. Fantastic. You can transform it. It's just, I love that. It's really simple.
All right, amazing. So guys, now I'm gonna wrap up this interview today right here. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. Check out the links in the description down below as well. If you want to connect with Tamara, check out her webinar as well. Schedule a call with her. Do whatever you want in order to find out what your life purpose is, and make sure to subscribe to this channel as well if you want to see more interviews just like this one. I definitely enjoyed it. Tamara, thank you so much for taking the time, for waking up at 4:30 in the morning to be having this interview with me today. So have a fantastic day, and I guess I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.